Hey there, welcome to my home place. I'm Rodney Bridges, and this is me. I would describe myself as a kind, adventurous, and all around fun guy. I like to read, ride my bike, hang with my cat Lily, and oh, do I love to go out and dance. An unknown source once said, "How can you understand me if you don't know where I've been?" I grew up in Sacramento, California, spent a few years in Los Angeles, and ultimately ended up here in San Francisco. Over the years, I have had many homes and been a part of many communities. I identify as a gay male, so when choosing a home place, I decided to choose a community where I feel most at home. LGBTQIA plus community. Now I know what you're thinking. Is that a new streaming service? Well, no, silly. It's actually an acronym. It stands for lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer or questioning, intersex, and asexual, plus all gender identities that letters and words cannot describe. In the US alone, there are approximately 24,018,580 LGBTQIA identifying individuals. The community is united by common cultures, social movements, and celebrates pride, diversity, individuality, and sexuality. Now you're thinking, oh yeah, I've heard of them. They're the ones who have that big parade where everyone dresses in rainbows. Well, that's only partially true. Aside from heterosexism, homophobia, biphobia, transphobia, sexualism, and your average conformist pressures, the LGBTQ community has had to fight for many of its basic civil rights. Let's take it back to the 60s, one of the most tumultuous decades in world history, marked by civil rights movements, the Vietnam War, anti war protests, political assassinations, and other shenanigans. On the morning of June 28, 1969, police raided the Stonewall Inn, a gay bar and tavern, in the Greenwich Village neighborhood in Lower Manhattan, sparking 6 days of spontaneous protests. These events transformed the gay liberation movement and led to what many call the birth of the modern LGBT rights movement. 1 year later, Christopher Street Liberation Day marked the anniversary of the Stonewall riots and the birth of the first celebrations of Pride in LA and Chicago. By 1972, over 15 other cities held their own Pride celebrations, including London, Paris, West Berlin, DC, Miami, and of course, San Francisco. Pride for the LGBT community is more than just a party, it's a protest and a celebration of the fight of those who came before us. In the 80s, the LGBTQ community faced challenges due to the AIDS epidemic, initially labeled a gay disease, and actually called GRID, which stood for Gay Related Immune Deficiency. The government's inaction and propaganda surrounding the disease led to the formation of organizations like ACT UP, the AIDS Coalition to Unleash Power, who works to improve the lives of people living with AIDS through direct action, medical research, treatment, and advocacy. With advances in modern medicine, those living with AIDS are able to live long, healthy lives, and there are even drugs available like PrEP, which are 99% effective in stopping the transition of HIV. We have also had to fight for the right to love and marry. It wasn't until June 26, 2015, that the U.S. Supreme Court struck down all state bans on same sex marriage, legalizing it in all 50 states. As of 2022, 33 countries recognize same sex marriage, with the most recent being Cuba back in September. One study found that since 2015, 134,000 fewer teens attempt suicide each year. Many of these great accomplishments are due to some of the amazing organizations that have arisen over the years. The Human Rights Campaign helped lead the right for marriage equality and was a major player in the repeal of Don't Ask, Don't Tell. The San Francisco AIDS Foundation promotes health, wellness, and social justice for communities most impacted by HIV through sexual health and substance services, advocacy, and community partnerships. And then there's the Trevor Project, the world's largest suicide prevention and crisis intervention organization for LGBTQ youth. I myself used those services when I was younger. Through all these struggles, the LGBTQ community remains strong and supportive. It is our shared adversities, stories, experiences, and accomplishments which bring us together. LGBTQ spaces were some of the first spaces I ever felt free and seen. Community events like Pride, Folsom, and the Castro Street Fair are some of my favorite memories, celebrating freedom and free love. And I hope that one day I can be an even bigger contribution to this community, which I call home.